He took my baby. This is my baby daughter.
Dominic Jefferson, 33 years old, a mother of three and newly engaged. On New Year's Eve, she received a proposal and a ring. Her mother watched the video, was happy for her daughter.
And I thought she had found the man of her dreams. And it turned out it wasn't the man of her dreams. It was a nightmare of her life.
Pointed it at the complainant's chest, fired the handgun once, striking the complainant in the chest.
He don't deserve anything. He don't deserve to live. And that's how I feel about it, with no filter.
But I want to know why. Why? Why would you do this? You said you loved her. You proposed to her on New Year's Eve, and not today. You kill her. Why? She didn't deserve this.
New Year's Eve, Houston, Texas. Kendrick Akins gets down on one knee in front of the camera. He's going live on Facebook, broadcasting the moment to friends and family. He proposes to 33-year-old Dominic Jefferson. She says yes. The couple had been dating for 3 months before he proposed to her on New Year's Eve. Cron Dominic was a mother of 3 children. Her family watched the proposal video online, excited about her happiness. Her mother said, "I thought she had finally found the man of her dreams." Around midnight early Saturday, January 4th, 2020, outside an apartment complex located in the 5500 block of Hollyview Drive in Northwest Houston, Co., everything changed. Dominic Jefferson was shot in the chest. The person holding the gun was Kendrick Akins, the man who had just proposed to her 4 days earlier. A neighbor overheard the couple's fight and came outside to help the woman. Akins then shot at the neighbor, but missed. Cronny ran from the scene, leaving Dominic dying in the parking lot. From a public Facebook Live proposal to murder in 4 days. What happened between New Year's Eve and January 4th that turned a celebration into a crime scene? If you remember when this case broke, or if you're watching from Houston, drop a comment below. This story shocked an entire community, and we're breaking down exactly what happened and how justice was finally served.
The 34-year-old was shot in southwest Houston by her fiancé as horrified witnesses looked on. That according to police.
Wish you a happy new year. 2020, we're applying pressure, pressure, pressure.
But just 3 days after the romantic live Facebook proposal, things went sour. At around 11:50 p.m. on that fateful evening, Dominic was headed to pick someone up from work, but the car wouldn't start. She was said to have wanted to jump-start her car with Kendrick's car when he went outside and yelled, "Don't touch my car." She continuously attempted to fix the car's battery to get the car up and running, but Kendrick continued to yell. That led into an argument between Kendrick and Dominic, which prompted Kendrick into grabbing Dominic's cell phone and threw it against a hard surface, making the phone inoperable. The argument escalated, making Kendrick reaching for a firearm. Upon sighting the firearm, Dominic said, "Go ahead, shoot me." Kendrick pointed the gun at Dominic's chest and fired once before returning to his apartment. 2 people who witnessed the crime were talking about what to do next when Kendrick appeared again and shot at one of them, who had to jump in the bushes to play dead to avoid being shot at again. After shooting at the witness, Kendrick went over to Dominic, who was motionless in the parking lot, grabbed her cell phone and ran away. Police was eventually called to the 5500 block of Hollyview Drive in Northwest Houston, where they found Dominic and she was declared dead.
He took my baby. This is my baby daughter.
The family of Dominique Jefferson is heartbroken, saying she was the woman shot and killed at the Hollyview apartments around midnight Saturday.
Nobody deserves to die like that.
Police have not identified Jefferson as the victim, but say the victim and her boyfriend got in a fight. Jefferson's family says they never heard of any troubles in her relationship. In fact, they said her boyfriend just proposed to her days ago.
He was very polite, very nice.
Her family says Jefferson has 3 kids and ran a business to help African American women succeed in the arts.
I'm not gonna let her die in vain, but what I will do is celebrate her life as we know it.
Killing his fiancée just days after he proposed, is now charged with murder. 39-year-old Kendrick Akins turned himself into police a few hours after the shooting on Hollyview in Northwest Houston. Akins allegedly shot the woman outside of an apartment complex, then shot a bystander who tried to help her. The victim's sister told us Akins had just proposed on Facebook Live on New Year's Eve.
But I want to know why. Why? Why would you do this? You said you loved her. You proposed to her on New Year's Eve, and not today. You kill her.
Dominique Jefferson, 33 years old, a mother of three and newly engaged. On New Year's Eve, she received a proposal and a ring. Her mother watched the video, was happy for her daughter.
And I thought she had found the man of her dreams. And it turned out it wasn't the man of her dreams. It was a nightmare of her life.
Her life ended 4 days later, early Saturday morning. According to police, Jefferson and her fiancé, 39-year-old Kendrick Akins, had an argument as she stood in the apartment parking lot. It continued. He's now charged with shooting her to death.
Pointed it at the complainant's chest, fired the handgun once, striking the complainant in the chest.
And accused of shooting at a witness who tried to intervene. The video of the proposal taken by the young rapper she was managing. She and Akins had met only 3 months ago.
I didn't get no bad spirit during that time, and I was just like, cool, if they happy, then I'm happy. But when the altercation happened, I was thrown off because I was like, man, how could you do this? You just proposed, how could you do this?
We have a woman who was gunned down outside her home talked to Fox 26. The 34-year-old was shot in southwest Houston by her fiancé as horrified witnesses looked on. That according to police. Now her family says they have a message for others. Tiffany Justice, he is live near Hollyview Drive with details. Tiffany.
34-year-old Dominique Jefferson, a mother of three, was gunned down by her fiancé, who is now facing murder charges. We did speak to her family today, and they say a big component into her death was domestic violence.
This is much bigger than my sister. This is about domestic violence.
11:50 Friday night, gunshots rung out at this apartment complex off of Hollyview Drive in southwest Houston. Left dead, 34-year-old Dominique Jefferson, her mother able to track down who witnesses say pulled the trigger.
And I say, well, where were you? Where are you now? Why did you leave the scene?
Houston police have in custody Dominique's fiancé, 39 years old Kendrick Akins, as a person of interest.
He was very polite, very nice, but I guess I was wrong.
Dominique's mother saying she thought her daughter had met the man of her dreams.
She didn't deserve this.
She didn't.
He took my baby. This is my baby daughter. I'm trying to process this, but it's hard.
Not only did a mother lose her daughter, 3 children had their mother ripped from their lives. Dominique's daughter, Shania Hunter, grieving with her family.
They wouldn't let us see her, none of that. But then the first thing came to mind was her daughter, her 2 sons. This is her daughter, Shariah.
Dominique's mother telling us she wants her daughter to be remembered as a loving and hardworking person.
Her logo was Hustle Life.
Nobody deserves to die like that.
The family hoping that her death can be a message for others who may be in a violent and harmful relationship.
My sister's not going to die in vain. If it ain't right, if it don't feel right, it ain't right.
Broken family paying tribute to a mother who was killed this weekend. This balloon release is for Dominique Jefferson. Add to the heartbreak, complete shock. The man police say murdered her was her fiancé. He's now behind bars, awaiting his date in court. Marcelino Benito joins us live from the courthouse with the story. Marcelino.
We're on tonight. The victim's mother says she always thought her daughter's fiancé was actually a good man. She never thought this could ever happen. Dominique Jefferson's family is letting us share one of her last public posts on Facebook. A picture-perfect proposal to kick off the new year. It captures how Kendrick Akins popped the big question.
He had a shirt on that said, Dominique, will you marry me, on his shirt. And he gave her the ring, kneeled down on his knees and gave her the ring. And then 3 days later, he turned around and killed my daughter.
In less than a week, Akins went from doting fiancé to accused murderer.
He promised me he was going to take care of my daughter. He was going to cherish my daughter. He was going to love her. He was going to be there for her, and he lied. He lied. He killed my daughter. He don't deserve a bond. He don't deserve anything.
Witnesses say the two got into a dispute. Akins grabbed the gun. A witness told investigators Dominique said, "Go ahead, shoot me, shoot me." Akins pulled the trigger, fatally shooting her in the chest. Akins is also accused of shooting one of the witnesses.
I feel like I'm in a nightmare, in a dream or something right now.
Tonight, Dominique's mother, alongside other friends and family, came together to remember her, honor her memory, and demand justice.
If she had any fears, she never did verbalize it. As far as what I heard is, Mama, I'm happy.
Her family says it never once suspected she was involved in an abusive relationship. They hope Dominique's death serves as a lesson to women in similar situations.
My sister was in love with him enough to agree to marry him. But what happened? He loved my sister to death. That ain't love.
Around the time of the shooting, Dominic was outside Kendrick Akins' apartment with another woman. They were planning to take Dominic's car to pick up the woman's boyfriend from work. The car wouldn't start. That's when everything fell apart. Akins walked outside asking what the problem was. Dominic yelled at him not to touch her car, and an argument started right there in the parking lot. But this wasn't the first argument they'd had. A witness later told investigators that the couple had gotten into a fight the day before, where Dominic grabbed Akins' cell phone and threw it against a hard surface, breaking it. The tension had been building between them. The argument on January 4th was about a message Akins received on social media. They fought about it, and Dominic made a decision. She called the engagement off. That decision may have been what set him off. The witness who was there told investigators that as the arguing continued, Akins reached into his front right pocket and pulled out a handgun. Dominic backed away. She said to him, "Go ahead, shoot me, shoot me." He pulled the trigger once. The bullet hit her in the chest. A neighbor who lived in a nearby apartment complex heard the shouting. He ran from his unit and jumped over a fence to check on Dominic. When he got there, Akins confronted him and fired a shot in his direction. The neighbor wasn't hit, but he dove into the bushes and played dead until Akins ran away from the scene. About 12 hours later, Kendrick Akins walked into a Houston Police Department patrol station for questioning. He turned himself in. That same evening, he was charged with murder. He also faced an aggravated assault charge for firing at the witness who tried to help Dominic. His bond was set at $150,000 for the murder charge and $75,000 for the aggravated assault charge. But prosecutors immediately raised red flags about letting him out. Akins was on parole until March for an earlier conviction. He had an extensive criminal history, both in Texas and out of state. The state opposed bond entirely. The case took nearly 3 years to go to trial. On October 21st, 2022, Kendrick Akins, now 42 years old, was convicted of murder. When the verdict was read in the courtroom, he passed out and had a seizure right there. The judge had to postpone the sentencing phase because of the medical emergency. After a day of testimony during the sentencing phase, a Harris County jury sentenced Akins on November 9th, 2022, to life in prison. The jury also found that he was a true habitual offender because of his earlier violent crimes. He will never walk free. Almost 3 years from the murder to the final sentencing. Do you think that's too long for families waiting for justice? Or does building a solid case just take that amount of time? Let us know in the comments. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg spoke after the sentencing. She said Akins was an abuser with a string of domestic violence crimes that kept getting worse until he killed a woman. She said Dominic Jefferson lost her life because he lost his temper. The prosecution showed the jury Akins' violent past. He was previously convicted of aggravated assault of a family member back in 2008. He had prior felony convictions for possession of a weapon as a felon and possession of a controlled substance. He was on parole when he shot Dominic. In 2015, Akins was convicted of being a felon in possession of a weapon and possession of methamphetamine. He went to prison for that case and was released on parole. That's when he met Dominic. During the trial, jurors heard testimony that Akins once told people he put a loaded shotgun to a woman's head while she was asleep and pulled the trigger. The gun didn't go off. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern of violence against women going back almost 20 years. Assistant District Attorney Anthony Oso, who prosecuted the case, said he hoped the family felt justice was done. He said Dominic Jefferson was a daughter, sister, mother, cousin, and friend. The prosecution was able to establish a trail of violent crimes going back nearly 2 decades where Kendrick Akins was violent and abusive toward women. The jury put an end to that. 3 months of dating before a public proposal on Facebook Live. 4 days from engagement to murder. The speed alone should have been a warning sign. When someone moves that fast, especially with grand public gestures broadcasted online, it can be a form of love bombing. That a manipulation tactic abusers use to overwhelm someone with affection early on. Real, healthy relationships build trust over time, not in a matter of weeks. Akins had a documented criminal history. Violence against family members, weapons charges, drug charges. He was on parole when he killed Dominic. The system knew he was dangerous, but he was free to hurt someone else anyway. Murder rarely comes out of nowhere. There's almost always a pattern of escalating violence before the final act. The warning signs were all there in his record. Dominic called off the engagement. She recognized that something wasn't right and tried to leave. But that decision to leave is statistically the most dangerous moment for someone in an abusive relationship. When abusers feel like they're losing control over someone, that's when they become most violent. If you're planning to leave a relationship where you don't feel safe, you need to make a plan. Tell people you trust what's happening. Document incidents with dates and details. Consider getting a protection order. And don't agree to meet alone. Dominic's mother, Tina Hunter, said that Akins promised he would take care of her daughter. He told the family he was going to love her. She said he lied. He killed her daughter instead. Dominic's sister, Charmwan Unyej, said nobody deserves to die the way her sister did. She said she wasn't going to let Dominic die in vain, but she was going to celebrate her life and who she was. A Facebook Live proposal that friends and family watched and celebrated. 4 days later, a mother of 3 shot dead in an apartment parking lot. 3 children who will never see their mother again. Kendrick Akins is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. He will die behind bars. But no prison sentence brings Dominic Jefferson back to the people who loved her. What's your take on this case? Should someone with Akins' violent history have been on parole in the first place? Or did the system fail Dominic by letting him out? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If the story made you think differently about relationship red flags or move you in any way, hit that like button and subscribe. We cover the cases that need to be told with the respect and attention they deserve. And if you or someone you know is in a relationship that doesn't feel safe, please reach out for help. There are resources and people who want to help you. Your life matters. Rest in peace, Dominic Jefferson. Your story is a reminder to all of us to pay attention to the warning signs and take them seriously before it's too late.